All right, everybody. So we're going to go ahead and get started as everyone's kind of filtering in here. So welcome. Thanks for joining us for our student panel today. My name is Allison Beebe. I'm one of the freshman admissions advisors here at SUNY Plattsburgh. I see a lot of familiar names already today. So a lot of you I've spoken to personally. We know each other already, so that's very exciting. For those of you that I don't know, which I think at this point is pretty much just the Capital District, I think I haven't spoken to some students there, but I think I know everybody else. Welcome. It's very nice to meet you. So the way that today is going to run is I have 3 of our wonderful current students here with me today, and they're going to introduce themselves in just a second. But before we jump into that, I want to make sure that everyone knows how to ask their questions, because that's why we're here. So take a second and find on whatever device that you're using where the chat feature is in Zoom. It might be along the bottom of your screen or along the side of the screen or on the top of the screen, depending on if you're on a phone or a laptop or whatever you're using to tune in today. So go ahead and find that. Next step is going to be to send your first chat into that chat feature. We're going to do a warm-up. So if you want to tell me where you're from, and then let's see, what should we do today? Let's do what your favorite snack has been since you've been stuck at home with this quarantine. Mine has been coffee. I don't think that's traditionally a snack, but since I can't go to Starbucks every day now, I have perfected the perfect iced coffee at home. So that's what I'm going with as my quarantine snack. So go ahead and type your name and what your favorite thing to snack on is right now in the chat. I'll give you guys a second to find that feature. Once you find that chat, if you're having any technical issues, if you can't hear us, if something's going on, type that into the chat as well, and we will do our best to help with any technical issues. So as everybody is joining, I'll give you all just a second to submit your answers into the chat, and then we will get off and running here and start asking some questions to our current students. Let's see here. Awesome. We've got some chocolate fans. We've got Snickers as a favorite snack. I already know that we're all going to get along very well. It's another favorite of mine. So while these wonderful answers are coming in, and I'm loving this, I'm going to have our current students go around and introduce themselves while you guys are sending your answers into the chat. Looks like a lot of you are figuring out how to do that, which is awesome. So Nicole, I'm going to go ahead and start with you. You want to say where you're from, your major, and let's hear everybody else's favorite quarantine snacks as well.
Okay, hi everyone, I'm Nicole. I'm a communication sciences and disorders major with a minor in psychology, and I'm a senior at SUNY Plattsburgh. My favorite go-to snack during quarantine would have to be goldfish crackers. I always love them, and we always have them in the house, so every time I want a few snacks, I'll just go and grab some of them.
Awesome, love goldfish. I like the multicolored ones, the rainbow, those are good.
Me too.
So Dakota, I'll throw it over to you.
Yeah, my name is Dakota. I'm going into my junior year at Plattsburgh. I'm a social work major with a minor in photography. I'm from Niskayuna, New York, right near Schenectady, and I've been eating like a lot of like tortilla chips, like chips and salsa. That's usually a go-to.
That was actually going to be my snack if somebody called me out on coffee not qualifying, so that's fantastic. Naomi, you're up.
Hi everyone, my name is Naomi. I'm an international student from Ethiopia. My majors are international business, marketing, and business administration. I'm a sophomore right now. My favorite snack, I was having a hard time deciding. Someone reminded me of Snickers, so it's gonna be Snickers for today.
I knew we would have some fellow chocolate lovers here. This is awesome. Well, thank you all very much. And now everyone watching, you kind of have an idea of who we have with us to ask all of your questions to. I am here if you have any admissions-based questions that our students might not be familiar with, but by and large, we're here to let you talk to them today. So let's switch gears, and you can start sending in any questions that you have for our current students right into that chat. Anything about moving onto campus for the first time, what it's like to be hanging out on campus, the sports, taking some general education classes, anything on their particular majors, really anything that you can think of. SUNY Plattsburgh is perfectly fair game here today. So I'll let you start sending those in. It does look like we have some fellow potato chip fans in the audience today. I see some other chips and salsa. We got some barbecue chips going on. So we're amongst friends here. This is good. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and start grabbing some of these questions because we've got some good things coming in already. So very first, this is one of my favorites. I'm going to throw this one over to Naomi, actually, because I think you probably would have the best memory of this right now. What was your very first week of school like at SUNY Plattsburgh, if you can remember back that far?
I'm trying to like actually remember what it was like. I don't know. I think it was fun. I remember it was syllabus week, and it was just a very chill week because it was kind of like the beginning of everything. It was still a little cold because I was part of the winter orientation. I remember I spent a lot of time in Clinton. That's my memory about my first week at Clinton Dining Hall. Is a freshman dining hall on campus, and you know, me and my friends, we were like, I was friends with my orientation group. We were all like new students, didn't know much. So we sat at Clinton, and I think that was the time I thought like the food was absolutely the best on campus. That was my favorite memory of it. I loved everything about it, like just sitting and having a good time with friends, because that's kind of how you get started. It's like a very relaxed thing, and then step by step after the second week of campus, after the second week, that's when a lot of events started happening, a lot of activities. And then like our professor started like giving homeworks, and then but to like I'd say the second week everything is just like kind of chill and waiting for you to get used to your environment.
Awesome, thank you. So we have a question about bringing a car on campus. Do any of you have a car that you bring to campus with you? Dakota, you do. Can you talk a little bit about having a car as a freshman? How do you go about registering to have your car?
So I believe you register online when you're sort of like selecting what you're paying for, like the optional stuff. One of the options will be parking pass. And that's really the only fee. I think it's $60 or $80 a semester. And then that'll cover you for the full semester. And then usually like the first weekend, they're pretty lenient about like parking and stuff, but as long as you get the parking pass, usually from the ACC during that first week, you can park in any of the, I think there's 3 distinct student parking lots on campus. But yeah, freshmen are allowed to have cars, which is definitely a perk of, I guess, Plattsburgh, because that's not super common around. I don't know if I missed anything.
Do you think it's necessary to have a car? Are there other ways to get around? What are we feeling?
Pretty easy to get around if you don't. We have the shuttle, so really anywhere in Plattsburgh you need to go, you can take the shuttle and to within a couple-minute walk, if not directly there, go straight to the mall, straight to Walmart. And then downtown's only like a 5-minute walk too. And even if you're trying to get to like Burlington or Montreal or Lake Placid, there's always like advertised trips going on too that you can keep your eyes open for. And a lot of the time, so I didn't actually have a car my first semester, I had it my second semester. So a lot of the time, you'll end up in a friend group with like somebody has a car, so you can usually end up carpooling or something like that. So it's definitely not a necessity, but it can be a cool perk if you do.
Awesome, thanks. So next question on here is actually going to be a really good fit for Nicole. Nicole's one of our community advocates on campus, which is similar to an RA, which a lot of you might know about. Nicole, the question is, what is something that people tend to forget to bring with them to campus that's going to be really useful?
Yeah, that's a great question. I definitely think bringing a fan would be one of the best things to bring. And a lot of people do forget about that and then end up having to go to Walmart the first day to get the fan. Although we're all the way up in Plattsburgh, about like 30 minutes from Canada, you'd think it would be really cold. But honestly, like the good majority of the first part of like the fall semester and the end of spring semester, it gets pretty hot up there. So definitely having a fan is really nice. It'll blow in the cool air. Even during the winter, sometimes the heat can be like cranked up really high, and it would be nice to just have the fan. I always like to mention, like when I am giving tours and stuff, to definitely bring a humidifier. My first 2 years at Plattsburgh, I didn't have a humidifier, and I always got like sinus infections, and I always got sick just because of like the heat that was in the room. And then this year I was like, okay, I need to bring a humidifier, and it helps so much. I always had it on, and I never got a sinus infection. So I always tend to like tell that to all the students that come and I give tours to.
Yeah, fan's a good call. I can tell you all, as one of the only ones, I think Naomi may also be in Plattsburgh right now, but one of the only ones in Plattsburgh, it's been 90 degrees all week. So fans are a must for sure. So Naomi, I'll actually call on you for this next one because you're kind of the expert here. What are some things that students do off campus? Where are students traveling to on the weekends? All that kind of good stuff.
So on the weekends, I think downtown's kind of a popular spot. I remember this past like couple of semesters, students have been like really out and about. I saw a lot of students apple picking and like posting their pictures from apple picking, which was like very interesting, very cute. Um, Me and my friends usually go on trips to like Burlington, which is like about an hour away, Lake Champlain. Even in the winter, like it's pretty cool. And then we also go to like Montreal. Montreal is like the spot. If you're traveling to anywhere from Plattsburgh, it's definitely like the spot. But it's like generally easy to travel because like Plattsburgh Airport will literally take you anywhere. I'm very grateful for Plattsburgh Airport. It has so many connections. Like you can get anywhere. What my favorite thing about it is it flies directly from here to Washington D.C. and from there's plenty of connecting flights like all around the world, so that makes Plattsburgh easy for traveling. But coming back to the main point, like what we do here on the weekends and stuff, restaurants, movie theaters. I drag my friends to the movie theaters. If it's not on the campus, it's like there's a like there are like restaurant theater downtown or something like that. There's just a lot of activities. I know some of our clubs take their members and also like guests skiing for like a day or something like that. Expeditionary study groups take people out like every weekend. There's just so many things to do. Like you're not gonna get bored. I think that's something that like students are afraid of. Like especially coming from the city, they're like, oh, this is a smaller place. But I think like definitely there's going to be so many opportunities, so don't like overthink that. Just come here and we'll show you how you're gonna have fun.
And you mentioned restaurants downtown. Do you have a favorite?
I think my favorite is Aleka's. It's a Greek style restaurant. My mom came here for fall break. I took her there. She loved it, and she's very picky. So I it must have been good.
Aleka's is a good one for sure. There's we have Greek food, there's Himalayan food. A lot of the students who like mac and cheese, we have a restaurant downtown that's 28 kinds of mac and cheese. Aleka's though is also one of my personal favorites. I think that I lunch tomorrow. All right, thanks Naomi. Dakota, can you talk a little bit about what happens on campus, either on the weekends or kind of after classes?
Yeah, I mean, we have over 100 clubs on campus, so really whatever you're interested in, there's probably something in that sort of field, whether it's like sports, like club sports or intramural sports almost every day. We have like art clubs, there'll be like plays and musicals put on by like the theater department. Really, like, it's hard to remember everything that goes on. And then like there'll be like individual, I mean, like once a semester sort of event. So like during like alumni weekend, we'll have like a giant bonfire. There's like a rail jam where Whiteface Mountain will like truck in like tons of snow down a slope that's in the middle of campus, and skiers and snowboarders will have that at one night, and then a lot of people come out to that just to watch. And really just stuff like that all the time. It's hard to remember everything, but just, keep your eyes open and you'll find stuff that'll strike your interest.
Awesome, thank you. So we've got some questions about kind of vegetarian and vegan food options. Nicole, are you able to talk about what those are on campus? And if you know any off campus, you can throw those in too.
Yeah, sure. So every place on campus has a vegan and vegetarian option, especially like at the Sundowner and Clinton, which are the bigger dining halls. We have a whole station where it's just specifically for vegan and vegetarian meals. And also at the other stations and other places on campus, if you tell the employee that you're vegan or vegetarian, they'll be able to help you with that. You just have to let them know. For off campus, I saw on like the questions, we don't have a Whole Foods, but we do have a ton of different grocery places around campus. So we have like Market 32, Hannaford's, Target, Walmart. I believe Market 32 and Hannaford's have a pretty big section for vegan and vegetarian and like allergy specific foods. So you'll definitely have those options all around on campus, but also off campus.
Awesome, thank you. And I can add too, as a local and as a vegetarian, Price Chopper and Hannaford are fantastic. And then actually in our downtown area, which is only about a 5-minute walk from campus, we have a food co-op, and that's going to be the closest thing to a Whole Foods. It's similar but different, but same sort of thing. Pretty much everything in there is either vegan or vegetarian. So you're going to have lots and lots of options, which is great. Good question. All right, so let's jump into the next one. I've got a question about the weather. Does anyone feel like talking about the weather in Plattsburgh? Lots of hands going up. Naomi, you're laughing, so I'm giving it to you. Loves to talk about our weather.
Yeah, this was interesting because I just had another meeting for like incoming international students, and we were like, well, how should we break it down? Like, how should we explain the weather to people who literally never experienced anything but the sun? So that was a whole conversation. But I think we get a lot of bad rep, like when it comes to weather. It's not as bad I think as it seems. I traveled all the way from like the equatorial land, so that's like really hot down there. I'm from East Africa, so it's like really really hot. And so I came here, and the funny thing was it was summer there and it's winter here, so it was literally over like a few like over like a day. It was a complete shift, so that was like a shock, but at the same time, like, it's beautiful. The snow is beautiful. It's not always that bad. I think our worst, like the worst times are like when it's really windy. When the semester I came in, it was like I think I remember someone telling me it was I think the worst they've seen in like 10 years or something like that. So that wasn't really the best news to hear. But like this winter we had a like an okay winter. It wasn't so bad. So just if it's like really windy, make sure to cover up. Other than that, like I just want everyone to know that, like, before you get demotivated from like going to classes because it's like snow outside or something, then the maximum you're gonna have to classes you're gonna have to walk to classes 12 minutes, and that's not like even like always true like half the time, because most of your classes are gonna be either like 4 minutes away from your dorm room, 6 minutes away. Like that's kind of the average that you're looking at, so it's not really like that much of an issue. And on the weekends, it doesn't really stop anyone from doing anything we want to do, so like that shouldn't be an issue for you either. It's just like I think with how much Plattsburgh has to offer, it shouldn't even like be in like something that students are concerned about. It's a part of the package, and well, it comes with like a lot of ice hockey, so it's worth it.
It's true. Ice hockey
Yeah.
there's a reason we play ice hockey here, because sometimes we have ice. So very good. I love that you have a different take on this question every time I ask you. It's always very fun for me. All right, awesome. So we have some questions about dorm life. Dakota, I'm going to throw this over to you. So how do you go about choosing a roommate or being assigned to a roommate? How's that process work?
So there's a few different options. If you know from the beginning who you want to room with, maybe you are going to college with somebody you've known forever, you already know somebody here, and you both want to be each other's roommates, that's perfectly fine. And you can just, I think you just put that down on the housing application. I'm pretty sure they still have you complete it, but you'll be with who you want to be with. If you're not sure, but you want to sort of like be able to choose, I would recommend going to like the Facebook groups and stuff like that. I think that's how Nicole found her roommate. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, no, I know a lot of people that do that too. Like basically every class has Facebook pages, and there's always people looking, just saying like, hey, I need a roommate. And you can kind of figure out whether or not you're compatible. Usually in another year, orientation is really nice. I'm not really sure how it's going to work this year, but if you're able to talk to people there, then that's another option too. And even if you don't find a roommate in any of those, our random roommate selection is pretty solid. You'll fill out like the same application, whether like you're early person or late person, clean or dirty. If you really like sports or really like video games or whatever, like common interests. And then our housing department will sort of match people up with who they think will fit the best together. And yeah, so really like that's actually how I found my first roommate, and it wasn't that bad an experience. We weren't best friends, but like we respected each other's space, and that's really all you can ask for. So yeah, basically that's everything, I think.
That's awesome. Nicole, I'm going to throw the next part of that over to you as my CA on duty, if you will, right now. So a couple of different things. So first part of the question is, what are you allowed to have in your dorm room and what are you not allowed to have in your dorm room, kind of on a high level assessment?
Yeah, sure. So really you can bring whatever kind of decorations that you like. You can bring tapestries, posters, like any type of bedding, stuff like that. The main things that you cannot have are like candles, hot plates, microwaves, really anything that can catch something else on fire you cannot have. But what's nice is that we have microwaves in each floor of the building, especially for freshman dorms. So you'll still be able to use that if you wanted to heat up anything to eat or like say popcorn or whatever, like leftovers. You'll still be able to do that. You just cannot have one inside of your room. We also are only allowing one fridge per room. So you and your roommate are going to have to figure out who's going to bring what. But you can bring as many TVs as you'd like, as many Keurigs, trying to think what other types of things. I need like computer monitors, stuff like that. Trying to think. What was the other part of the question?
So I haven't asked you yet, but it sounds like a good time to do so. So as a CA who plans all sorts of fun things, what are some of the different types of events that you see going on in the residence halls?
Yeah, sure. So for freshman dorms, they're thematic based. So each floor has this like a different theme. I was actually in a freshman dorm last year, so I was on the creativity floor, but there are a ton of other themes such as like environmental. There's also like hiking or outdoors activities. There's also like entertainment, sports, video games, stuff like that. And when you do fill out your housing application, it'll ask you what kind of activities that you like to do, and based on those activities they'll put you into a floor that was specific for that activity. And what's nice is that everyone on that floor has that common activity that they like, so it would be easier to meet new people. But also for the CAs, we usually tend to do a lot of activities based on that theme. So for creativity, we did a lot of like painting. We painted on like wooden squares and put it up on the wall so everyone that's on the floor can see what people painted. We also painted pumpkins and stuff like that. But also we did a lot of other activities. We were gonna go laser tag before Corona hit, but we also did like breakfast for dinner. So we made pancakes, bacon, eggs, and just hung out with my residents. And we also did a lot of like movie nights and stuff like that. So there's always something going on the floors. Usually about at least once a month we're doing something. And also within the whole building, we do building-wide programs as well.
Awesome. All right, so Naomi, I'm gonna come over to you. Can you talk about some of the different safety features on campus, whether it be with the dorms or university police and all those sort of things we have going on? Oh, you're still muted. There we go.
Okay. Safety features. Yeah. Keep reminding me if I forget them, but I think the biggest, one of the bigger, more important ones on campus is one of the stands connected with university police. So to explain this, they're just like poles that are like for lights. We have like square poles all around campus that are associated with either for on campus, they would be associated with like campus police. So what would happen is that there's a button that you would press in case of an emergency, and the police station would immediately get notified, and then officers like would come to help you and see what's going on or something like that. And I think we have those like I don't know, in like 5-minute walking distances, maybe. We do have like several of them, and also like right off campus to still, because like students have to travel downtown and such. We also have like similar measures. The only difference is the ones we have on campus are red and they will alert campus police. The ones we have off campus are white and they will alert like state police. So either way, wherever you are, we're near campus or like on campus, near campus, like there will always like be someone there's always a system to make sure that like everything is okay with you. Like police are always patrolling like around Plattsburgh, like they're going around making sure everything's okay. Some parents are worried about like student type of celebrations that take place during the daytime, and like there are like events which include like drinking and such, and like parents are really concerned about that. But like police are always going around making sure like that everyone's okay, and making sure like that other students are comfortable enough to give them a call if something happens to you. So like Nicole, CAs have like the responsibility to make sure that like if they see anything to immediately report it. And this is not just CAs, this also goes for like all club officials. There's like a mandatory training done by Title IX to make sure if they see something to report it. So generally, the majority of the student body like would be involved with such things to make sure like if something ever happens to anyone, like they would get checked. And the other important thing is ID cards. That's also something that's like of concern. So what happens with ID cards is as long as you're a student, you have access to all the residence buildings during like the daytime hours, but from like midnight to morning, you would only be able to get into your own building, like your own dorm building. And then once you get there, you would have like your own special code that you would enter on your door and then go in, and only you and your roommate would know of that. So I think we're pretty good on the safety. There are also like most of campus is covered by security cameras. So like if anything happens, we can always take a look and like find out what's going on.
I think you got them all. That was pretty good. All right, so we have another question that's come in about our professors and our class sizes. So just because I have the number off the top of my head, our average class size has about 22 students. But Dakota, do you feel like the professors have the ability to really get to know all of the students?
Yeah, I think that's the best thing about having classes that are relatively on the small side, especially anything like within a major, within higher level, within a certain area. You're never just going to be like, I think what people say is like, you're never like a number on a piece of paper. Like by like the second week of class, your professor's going to know your name. I'd say in just about every class I've had. And they're really like, they really care about helping you. You know, they're like doing like professors are professors because like that's what they love to do. They want to help people. So like, yeah, if you ever like stay after class or something like that and try to talk to them, like I've never had somebody that felt like they didn't want to talk to me or they didn't really care, which I've always found really nice. Like we have some really great professors on campus, and yeah.
So, and Nicole, another question that just came in is about Greek life. Can you talk about the Greek life on campus?
Yeah, sure. So correct me if I'm wrong, we have about like 25
Yep,
Greek, okay, 25 Greek life sororities or fraternities on campus. And they're all affiliated with SUNY Plattsburgh. So there's really none that are like underground or anything that isn't against the like SUNY Plattsburgh rules of Greek life. So there's no hazing, everything like that. We don't specifically have housing like through SUNY Plattsburgh for Greek life, but a lot of the fraternity brothers or the sisters and sorority will end up getting houses off campus and just paying like normal rent. Usually the juniors and seniors, since the freshmen and sophomores cannot be on off campus their first 2 years. So they'll usually just end up like, you know, having like a normal house off campus, but we don't have like, I know like a bigger schools like Arizona State or something like that. They have specific houses for each fraternity or sorority, but we do not have that.
Awesome, that was perfect. And that's a good point too that Nicole mentioned with sophomores and freshmen not being allowed to be off campus. That's a SUNY-wide rule. So even if you're looking to just be off campus and not be in a Greek life house, you do have to wait till your junior year unless you live in town. So just some food for thought, but that's a good question too. We don't usually get questions about Greek life, so I love it. Mixing things up a little bit. Oh, Naomi, did you have something to add?
Yeah, I just wanted to say like even if like they're not out and like living in the houses, a lot of like sisters and brothers decide to get a suite together. So that's something you can do. You can like have your own like living space with all like like 6 other people or like 8 other people, and that's like really fun.
That's a very good point. Yeah, that's very common amongst Greek life. And the same thing with sports teams. A lot of people that play a sport together or are in the same major, like nursing, for example, all like to kind of live together because they've got a similar schedule, some similar interests. So that's an option for you too. Absolutely. All right, so speaking of sports, let's talk sports. Dakota, I'm coming back to you because you're involved with all the things. So to give you guys some background, Dakota takes a lot of pictures for our D3 sports and is involved with our club and intramural sports as well. So Dakota, can you talk a little bit about kind of what those programs are like, what going to a game is like, and what being involved is all about?
Yeah, I mean, like, on like the more intramural and club side of it, I think it's really great for someone who, like, maybe you played sports in high school, like, but you're not at the same, like, you're not trying to have it consume your life like it could possibly if you go D3. It's really nice to have those club and intramural options, and we really have it for every sport you can imagine. So like, I think it's I can't remember the name of the website, but it's all online now. So there's like, Plattsburgh has a page. It's like, it's it's something like intramural.com. If I find it, I might like paste it into the chat because it's really convenient there. But then as far as like D3, if you're not on the team, I would definitely recommend checking out, like, especially the hockey and basketball games get extremely packed and exciting. But really, like, throughout the year, if you're interested in soccer or interested in lacrosse, like, those are really fun to go to, especially as you start getting later in the seasons with like the SUNY championships or the national championships. The national championship for women was supposed to be at Plattsburgh this year, and it was canceled about like a week before it was supposed to happen. So that was unfortunate, but it'll probably happen again next year because Plattsburgh women's hockey, right? But yeah, no, I would just definitely come to the games because they're really fun.
Awesome. Thanks, Dakota. Yeah, one of the reasons that you see us all get very excited about Plattsburgh women's hockey is we have the most decorated NCAA championship women's hockey team in the history of forever. They are fantastic. And same thing with men's hockey. We get about 1,300 spectators every game for men's hockey, and they're free for the students to go to. So you're going to fall in love with hockey once you get here, whether you already like it or not. That's just one of the fun things about going to Plattsburgh and being in the North Country. We like hockey here. So Naomi, I'll throw this one back over to you. What is kind of the shopping situation like in Plattsburgh? What are some options?
I love shopping. Just want to get that out there before I start. Plattsburgh, I was actually like pleasantly surprised. Like, there's like the mall has enough of the things that you would want, and if the mall doesn't have it, it's probably like somewhere close, or you can like get it online. I know one of the things I wish they had was like an H&M, but then it was fine because the school had a free trip, like a $5 trip to Burlington, and then like right in Burlington you go there and like they have it. So it's like if you can't find something there, you will find it like somewhere nearby, or you can order it online. And nowadays it's becoming pretty fast, and we're getting used to it anyway. But like there are a good number of shops. So like at the mall we have like Target, Best Buy. So all of the basics that you could think about, we have them. And then we have like Jessie Penney, who for students has like a sale only for students, usually between like 30 to 60% off store wide. So what happens is on one of the days in a semester, Just Penny completely closes down their store. They close down their front door, and what happened is they opened the back door for just SUNY Plattsburgh students, and students would like be taken from like the campus with a shuttle and dropped off there. They can go in and basically clear out the store, take off our discount, and then walk out. So that's for like professional clothing, but they have like semi-professional clothing in there too. But just generally, like there are things like that. We just had Kohl's open up a few months ago, I think. So that's been like pretty useful. And like, I guess if more students keep coming, and if we're doing our job right, more stores are gonna keep coming. So there's always that. But yeah, definitely, like it's not gonna be an issue. We also have our on-campus like store. So like if you're someone who likes sweatshirts and stuff, they come in all like different brands. We have Nike and like a few other like really good brands, and like different prices ranging. So if it's something to wear, so I don't know, you're gonna look good. Like there are options, so don't worry about that.
I love it. Thanks, Naomi.
Yeah, sure.
So I just want to throw out to our audience here, we're starting to run a little bit low on questions. So remember, if you have any questions that you want answered, make sure you type those in. This particular group knows that I always have questions, and we can keep this going till 4 with all the questions that are in my head, but I'd much rather answer what you guys are thinking about. So type those questions in so we make sure we're answering what you want to know, because that's why we're here. All right, so let's see what we have next here. Oh, that's a good one. So Nicole, I'll go to you. Can you talk a little bit about what some different opportunities are to work on campus, and what's the process of getting set up with a student job?
Sure. So we have really a ton of different places that you can work. You can work within housing as a CA. You can go into the library. We have an info desk that you're able to work at. Any food place on campus, really any place that you can think of, you can, even working within your department. If you have a specific major, you're able to do that, which is awesome. To do that, you would just obviously have to go up to whoever's like, say, admissions. So if you go up to admissions, ask if there's any positions open, and then you'd be able to fill out an application for them. To find some jobs, we also have the Career Development Center. That'll help you find jobs on and off campus. So they'll have like a whole list, and also online. You'll be able to look through this career development online portion of it. And they'll be able to help you with really finding any type of job, also internship as well if you're interested in that. But definitely, if you don't want to go off campus, but you do want a job, there's plenty of jobs on campus to get. We're never running out, so you'll definitely be able to find a job there.
Awesome. And Dakota, how about some internship opportunities? What does that look like?
I guess it really depends on your major. A lot of the time they're built right into the major, so it can be sort of easier that way because there's usually like a system that it goes through. I haven't personally gone through my internship yet, but I know that I have one next year. And then even if it's not required within your major, it's definitely recommended. So any questions you have about that, I would definitely go to the Career Development Center because that's a large part of what they do is, I believe, setting up internships and sort of preparing you for like the application process and the interview process for certain internships. But yeah, it's definitely like the way that it'll look largely depends on what your major is.
And is your internship built into your major, Dakota?
I believe it is. I feel like my major is a little bit interesting because it doesn't actually start until my junior year. So sometimes I feel like underinformed about it, but I'm pretty sure it's built right in. So it's, yeah.
Yeah, you're going to find some majors on campus have an internship that they're going to have set up kind of ahead of time for you. And then some, it's kind of a free for all. And you just get to work with that Career Development Center, come up with whatever internship you really want to do. And then specifically our School of Business and Economics, which Naomi's actually a part of, and I was a part of while I was here. So her and I are a little biased. It's kind of our favorite. They have their own internship coordinator as well. So if you're part of that school, you get a little bit of an extra boost there. So that's always great as well. So I did get one question that I'm going to go ahead and take because it's on specific admissions requirements, and that's why I'm here. So the question was what grades and GPA and SAT and ACT we're looking for at Plattsburgh, which is an awesome question. So generally what we're looking for most of our 70 majors that we have on campus is a solid B student for GPA. So if you're in kind of the 85 to 90 range, you're going to be in a good spot. For SAT, we were looking for somewhere in that 1010 to, or that, yeah, 1010 to 1180 range. I haven't had enough of that coffee I make yet today, so bear with me. If you're doing the ACT, that's going to translate into a 20 to a 26 roundabout. So those are some numbers that are just kind of what we refer to as our middle 50%. That just means they're average for what we take in for admitted students, but they're not hard and set numbers. So you can be a little bit one way or the other and still be in an okay spot. The only time that's really going to change is if you want to pursue education, which I know at least one person in the audience does, so I'll mention this. We need an 83 or higher specifically for GPA for education. Just keep that in mind. And also we need at least a 1050 on that SAT. And then if you're looking to go into nursing, it's a totally different ballgame on our campus. Our nursing students have wild and crazy wonderful GPAs and SAT scores. Average for nursing for GPA is a solid A student. So somewhere in the 92 to 94 range is about average for GPA for them. And then for SAT, 1240 is about their average. So if I have any nursing students in the audience, just know that that's kind of what we're looking for. But that's an awesome question. Thank you for asking that. All right. So Naomi, I think you're up. And my next question is kind of what the food variety is like on campus. We talked a little bit about some vegan options already, but what are the other options on campus?
We have like some Asian food options like I know we have like a chef jet, which is they have a lot of like noodles, rice, and then just like the main foods. But we have, other than that, like we have, I think, 7 dining venues at least.
At
Right?
least. I think we're up to something like 10, 11, 12 now. It's getting out of control.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too. I know like we're building our next dining hall, which is like in front of Kent Hall, kind of like the center of campus, the low key. So like there's that going on. But yeah, we do have like a lot of food type options. So like you have the main dining halls that have like never ending food all around, which for freshmen are like unlimited. It's they're under your unlimited meal plan. So you can just go stay there, which is what I did my freshman, like first few weeks of freshman year. But that's kind of that's what normally what happens. And we also have like Subway and Tim Hortons, Einstein's. So like for these, they're not really associated with campus dining. They're just your like the ones like they're your regular Subway, Einstein's, and they just have a space on campus. So like these are external. So like it's gonna taste exactly like it did when you had it like back home or something like that, wherever it was that you did. So we have those, and also like the freshman meal plan. I think it's pretty nice to start out with. So like you don't have to worry a lot about like cooking or like managing the amount of money on your meal plan. So you always have like your main dining hall, and no matter what happens, like you're gonna be able to go there to eat anytime, any day. So you just simply don't have to stress about that. Other than that, you'll have like retail meals, which are like specific type of meals that will be included. 7 of them will be included in your card, and you can just go swipe retail anytime of the day and then switch out, and then this will be renewed every week. You also have your like late night swipes, which is like $8.75 after like 8 p.m. at night, and you can use these we have scoops, which is like a ice cream slash milkshake slash smoothies slash cakes kind of place. We just have like a lot of places where like you can try out the foods and find what you like. Halal Shack, our newest addition. You're right, Ali. This is getting out of hand.
Halal Shack's my favorite. It's so good. It's like Middle Eastern street food and rice bowls and falafel, and nothing on their menu is bad. They make a whole bowl full of French fries. It's good stuff. All right, thanks, Naomi. That's awesome. Yeah, and we really do have something for everyone. For my fellow coffee fans, we have a Starbucks and a Tim Hortons. If you are not from upstate New York or Canada, Tim Hortons is like Dunkin' Donuts, but better. So you're going to learn to love that right after you learn to love hockey. So all good things happening here. All right, so you guys follow directions very well, and I have lots of awesome questions in here now, which is great. Dakota, I'm going to throw it back over to you because I don't remember, but I think it might be your turn. So this is a good question. What is one of your favorite things about Plattsburgh and one of your least favorite things about Plattsburgh? Throwing the curveball like interview question at you right now.
Yeah, okay. So I think my favorite thing about Plattsburgh, I'm going to go with the size. I really love the size of the community and the size of campus. It's just like, it's that perfect size where like you see familiar faces every day, but you also meet new people every day. So like, it's just, yeah, you're not just like, oh, like almost every class I've had, I've seen at least 1 or 2 people by like my second year that I'm like, oh, okay, I sort of know like who they are. But at the same time, it's like you're always meeting new people, and like that's nice too because I grew up in a small town and I don't need that forever. So, and the community is the same way. Like it has all the stuff that you could need, but it's not overly crowded. It's not overly loud. It's just peaceful. Least favorite thing about Plattsburgh.
You guys picked the hardest question. This is a hard
That's
question.
a really hard question. Shoot. See, like my mind keeps going to the weather, but I really don't think the weather's that bad because honestly, I prefer it to this. You can add as many layers as you want, but once it's like 80, 90 degrees, there's nothing you can do to escape it. But I guess like I'm really struggling with this. This is hard.
I think the weather's an acceptable answer.
Yeah,
The
I guess that's what I'll go with then. Because I guess when you're like walking up Ruger Street and the wind's really whipping through and you're feeling your eyelids freeze, that's not amazing, but I think it's definitely worth it.
That's awesome. Thank you, Dakota. So the thing with Plattsburgh is we really do have a true 4 seasons. You're going to experience winter, spring, fall. You're going to get it all while you're here on campus for only a couple of months because it changes very quickly. So some people love that and some people would prefer that it just picked one. So sometimes that's not everybody's favorite. And that's usually my go-to question too, even though I've lived here almost my entire life. So fair enough. So Nicole, it's definitely your turn because I feel like I haven't called on you in a really long time. So what is one of your favorite classes that you've taken so far?
Yeah, so for my major, my favorite class would have to be my speech sound disorders class that I took. My professor was so nice. I know we talked about the professors getting to know everyone before, but he really went above and beyond. When we first got there, the first day, he made sure that he was like studying our like picture, our student ID picture. And by the time we got up there to get our like syllabus, he was like, "Oh, hi Nicole, like how are you?" And he like knew our names. And it was just like an experience I've never had even in high school. It was just crazy to me to see that he took all that time out of his day to learn all of our names and kind of like get it familiar with who we were before we even knew him, which was awesome. But outside of my major, one of my favorite gen ed classes would have to be my Canadian history studies class. I took it as like a history credit, and honestly, I loved it. I never really got to know the history of Canada. And since we are in Plattsburgh, basically in Canada almost, we do have a few classes for Canadian history. And it was really fun. My professor was amazing. She brought in a ton of different like treats that Canadians usually would eat. And we had a great time. And I got to learn so much. And it was just like an amazing time to have. And I was really excited to go to the next Canadian studies class. So yeah.
Did you get to try poutine in your Canadian studies class, the French fries and the gravy and the cheese?
Not in the class, but we do have that on campus, and I've had it, and it's really good. And I've also had it in Montreal too, so it's really awesome.
Yes. So for those of you who have never had it, it's amazing, and it comes from Canada. We really only are about half an hour from the Canadian border. As a local, we joke that we are in South Canada, so you're going to get to kind of experience that Canadian culture while you're here, which is awesome. So Naomi, I'm going to go back to you. Can you talk a little bit about what it's like to work with an academic advisor? What do you work with them for, and how's that relationship?
So I'm kind of known as one of those students who make my advisor's job easy. But that's just because like our advisors, they kind of like they do a lot for us. So they every time, the thing is like a lot of students don't like actively go to their advisors. That's a shortcoming. So that's definitely something you should avoid right off the bat. I'm gonna say it right now. So what advisors do is like they kind of advise you on like what majors you should take, which majors you should add, how to save time, like how to graduate early, which classes you would take, and like they're not gonna suggest these blindly. You're gonna give them like how you feel, like what you want, and they're gonna like suggest these to you based on like everything, all the information that you give them. So yeah, that's gonna happen. And like the main thing about advisors is every time before you choose a class, you're gonna have to go and see them. That's the only way that you're gonna be able to register. So there's that. And so like they'll keep you on track. But like it's usually it's gonna be your like whichever classes you want to take. They're just gonna check if it's like you know, good for you to take right now. Some classes are like really difficult to take in your freshman semester, even though like they're 100 classes, like there's a chance that you might not know that. So like they will help you with like things like this. So it's always like a good idea to find them. There's a 300 like level course that was like really easy. So my professor recommended I take it, like my advisor recommended I take it like in my first semester and stuff. So they just like do things like this for you. Other than that, especially when you want to add a major, which if you're in Plattsburgh, you probably will want to add a major. They really help you then because like they know the differences in the requirements, and these requirements keep getting updated constantly. So they're also updated about like those changes. So like you can find these things online, what's required for which class. but in the end, I think with going with them, they're always like extra resourceful. I think I know everything, and then I just talked to one of my advisors, and they're like, oh yeah, did you hear you just need one more class for this minor now, so you should probably consider taking it. And I'm like, wow, that's amazing. So like things like that happen. Also, with each new major, you're gonna probably get a new advisor. Unless the two majors are like in the same department, you're gonna get a new advisor each time. I think I have like 4 advisors right now. So that's just more and more people for like to help you be successful. So yeah, just take advantage of it.
Naomi, you're awesome. And I think you're leading the pack currently with the most programs being studied at a time right now. What is your workload like with all those different programs that you're rocking?
I have to admit, like being in SPE, it's a different experience. My friends hate me because of how much free time I had, like when they were struggling. I think it's a bit different. I can't say it's just me because like it's just me and my friends in SPE also have like some free time. I don't know why it's easier. I don't know why like it looks easier, but like it has been for me personally. So the thing is like you won't have like a lot of work to do. A lot of SPE professors, I think they just like they like interactions. So like I learn from the way they teach. They're not very, they don't overdo it on when it comes to like homeworks and everything. Like it's kind of like so you can grab the concept, and usually a lot of the content is provided online. I think this might be because so a lot of SPE professors are like, we have a lot of international professors from like all around the world, and they're like also relatively younger, more tech savvy. So I think that like really influences like how we are learning, especially like during like COVID-19. So like some students did complain about like having more workload and everything. But for us, it was definitely like a different thing because all our homeworks, everything was already online. We just kind of had to take our lectures online. So I will say that like it is definitely like easier, and we're not in shock right now. And that became true for other departments too. Like as we started like going deeper and deeper into like COVID, they like everything started going more like smoothly, and the workload just kind of balancing out. So even relative to other schools, like with conversations I've had with like friends and stuff, I think the workload here is definitely much more manageable than like what I've heard. So I think we have like a positive thing going here when it comes to that.
All right, thank you. Good to have some inside knowledge there. So we just got a question that's going to be a good one for Nicole. Nicole, can you talk about the process to applying to becoming a CA, and when can you do that? How does that all work?
Yeah, so for if you are interested in becoming a CA, it's usually the application comes out around the end of November, early December-ish, and then that's like where you would apply online. It's like a few questions. They put out like you have to submit your resume and stuff like that, reasons why you want to be a CA and everything like that. And then towards the end of January is when the deadline is. And once that happens, they'll send you an email saying there's a specific date for the group interviews, which is when a group of people that want to become a CA are in a like interview session type of thing. But it's a lot of like fun activities, like team bonding activities, trying to see who would be the leader and who would fit within certain aspects of the job. And then once the head, like the CA and also the CDs, they kind of like talk about everything and choose whoever would go next or go off to the next section. You'll get an email saying if you are able to get a personal interview or not. And if you do, you'll sit down with two CAs and a CD, and who's like the CDs are like the director of a building. And they'll do like a formal interview, like how a normal interview would be. And then about a week or so later, they'll let you know if you're got the job or not. What's nice is that you get to meet new people already because you have that group interview. And also I've done like the group interview, obviously to become a CA, but also to see who would become a CA once I was a CA. So it's really like you just go in and have fun. It's really like not like stressful at all. I know I was very stressful when I first did it, but it really isn't. But also I'm trying to think. For the CA position, you get free room and board and also half off your meal plan, which is awesome. Although it is a lot of like work, I'm not gonna lie, we do have to deal with a lot of stuff. But it's so worth it. So if you are like even a little bit interested in becoming a CA, definitely try and apply, because it's really like a rewarding experience.
And Nicole, what's your schedule like being a CA?
Yeah, so I would have like, of course, my classes throughout the day, and I'm also a part of a few clubs, so I'll have a few meetings throughout the week. But what's nice is that I'll have time, like say in the afternoon. That's just how my schedule usually is for classes. I'll have like about an hour or so where I'm just in my room, and I have my door open, making sure if anyone needs me, I'm there. And I'm able to help them within that hour. But also, of course, if someone needs something when I'm not there, they can always text me. I usually give out my number. But also, we have a scheduled time for whenever we're on duty. So that's usually from 8 p.m. to midnight, and then we have to keep the phone, which is our like we literally have a flip phone for emergencies and stuff like that, and you have to keep it throughout the night. So if there's a call at 2 a.m, you're gonna have to answer it, which is annoying. It's happened to me before, but it's not so bad. But you'll see the whole schedule literally in the beginning of the semester. So if there's any like conflictions between whatever you have to study for and your duty time, you can always change it with your other CAs in the building, which is really nice. And also, even if it's like last second, there's always someone that's going to be like, oh, like I can take the position and we can switch. So it's really not that strenuous on my schedule, but there are times where there's emergencies and you have to deal with something like right away, of course. So I don't know, I usually don't take those into consideration because it doesn't happen all the time. But yeah, but usually for the like schedule and stuff like that, obviously you have to plan for programs and also making door tags and stuff like that. But it's really not much different from when I didn't have the job. So
Thanks, Nicole. So we got a really great question that just came in inquiring about mental health services and counseling on campus. Does anyone have some information that they want to share there, or is that one you guys want me to take? You got it, Naomi? All you.
I can start and you can help me finish. So I just want to say something about like a kind of a newer service that started, which was online counseling for like students who weren't as comfortable to like go into like these like the health center and other spaces. And I thought that was like really something because I'm from a country that doesn't really talk about mental health, kind of rubs it off. So like that them kind of taking the initiative to offer a different venue, a more like private venue, and like even more convenient and like kind of an easy and non-intimidating method to like get to students. I thought was like pretty great. We have like counseling services like here on campus, and I know right now like different organizations, including like the student association, is trying to get more funding into like those sectors. So like there's a constant like there's always like a constant initiative when it comes to mental health. So I just want to start with that, and like yeah, you can continue that.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that has been an awesome new feature that we have on campus. We do have counselors on campus if you would like to see a counselor in our Student Health and Counseling Center. Those are totally free for our students to utilize. And then on top of that, we also have different events throughout the year to promote mental health awareness, some kind of stress relieving events, especially around finals time. So there's all sorts of different things that you can get involved in and participate in, depending on the level of involvement that you're looking to have, or if you want to participate in our counseling services, they're here for you and they won't cost you a thing as a student on campus. So really great resources here for you for sure. All right, so we are kind of down to the wire here, so we're going to start to wrap things up. If we missed your question today, please send us an email at admissions with an S at plattsburgh.edu. That'll connect you with me and with our students, and we can reach back out to you and get questions answered. I would like to go, let's see, I have one last question. Dakota, I haven't heard from you in a while, so I'm calling on you. You also always have good answers for this. So we have a lot of students here today that are fall 2020 students, so they're looking to come on campus here in just a minute. So a lot of them haven't had a chance to visit. Do you have any advice for how they can still stay involved and kind of see SUNY Plattsburgh without being here?
Yeah, so if you're here, you're already doing the right thing, because just utilizing events such as this, or like the virtual tours that go on every Monday, and when, no, every Monday.
Monday and
Yeah,
Friday.
Monday and Friday. There we go. Okay. And utilizing the tours that go on every Monday and Friday are really great starts. Also, just like keeping up to base on like social media and stuff, using like the Plattsburgh Twitter account, and like basically like every club and organization also has Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So just kind of keeping up on those, and like the group, the Facebook groups and stuff will sort of like, that's about as involved as you can get. As far as like visiting Plattsburgh, definitely the tour. I actually didn't visit Plattsburgh for the first time until my orientation. So the SUNY Plattsburgh, at least, until my orientation. So I guess like just sort of, don't worry too much about it. Like it's gonna feel, it's really exciting just moving in and sort of exploring the area for the first time. I think everyone really likes it and finds that they are really comfortable there. I definitely was. So just, yeah, I guess utilizing technologies and social media is really the best way to do it right now, and just staying up to date on everything.
Awesome. That is excellent advice. I left our admissions email in the chat for any of you that are looking to jot that down for questions that we might not have had a chance to get to. We will have another student panel session on the 8th of July at 1 o'clock. So if you'd like to join us for that one, that's when the next one is happening. Thank you all again so much for joining us, and hopefully we will see you soon. Have a great day, everybody.